CCR TV, channel of God's love. Soglank आमचो नमस्कार आणि माये मोगाचो येवकार. गोंयच्या फुटबॉलाचे वस्ताद कार्यावळींत आयज आमकां खूब खोस भोगता तुमचे मुखार हाडूंक गोंयच्या फुटबॉलाचे नोकेत्र आनी इंडियन फुटबॉलाची हॅट्रिक क्वीन Yolanda de Souza Kamamaya. Yolanda has represented the country for more than 30 times, including the Women's World Cup in Taiwan as vice captain of India team and the only Goan in the team in the year 1981. She has the distinction of being the first Indian to score a hat-trick in an international competition for India, playing versus BKT Sweden on a debut for India in the year 1976. At the 1976 Women's National Championship that was held at Sultanpur, Yolanda was the top scorer with 15 goals and 3 hat-tricks and was eventually declared the player of the tournament. In the year 1980, she was the top scorer and declared player of the Nationals with 8 goals and 2 hat-tricks. She was also nominated Indian Women Footballer of the Decade in 1980 by the Women's Federation of India. गोंयच्या फुटबॉल मापार योलांदा बायन चमत्कार घडला आनी आपल्याक नामना जोडल्या. विमेन्स नॅशनल फुटबॉल चॅम्पियनशीप खेळांत योलांदान मध्य प्रदेश पंगडा आड खेळताना एक हॅट्रिक आनी सगळे मेळून 11 गोल मारून शाबासकी जोडल्या. Yolanda is the recipient of the prestigious Bakshi Bahadur Jivbadada Kirkar State Sports Award for outstanding performance in football in the year 1979 and Dr. Jack de Sequeira Lifetime Achievement Award in football in the year 2011. Yolanda, the football star of yesteryears, is now a full-time artist and painter and has her own art gallery in Kalangut. Welcome to the CCR TV studios, Yolanda.
My absolute pleasure to be here.
We are also happy to have you here and let's talk football.
Absolutely.
Yolanda, can you tell us something about football and how was the scene back home as far as football was concerned in your village of Kalangut in the early 70s, mid 70s, perhaps when you first began playing football at a competitive level?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, football I've always played. As you know, football runs in the blood of every Goan, whether it's a boy or a girl. So when you start playing with your friends and your brother.
Yes.
With, the game that you played was football, nothing else.
Excellent.
So I knew the game, but of course, it was never played as a sport. So one went to other games. I was an athlete, I was a badminton state player, also a hockey state player.
So multiple disciplines.
Yeah, because that's what everyone in Goa did, they played many games. And anyways, I read somewhere in 1975 that girls football had started in India. And still I didn't think of, I said, wow, it has started. But then I learned that my, villages next to me, my neighboring villages, that's Kanduli and Parra, had started their own teams.
I see, in
and
the 70s.
Yes, and they were already playing matches against each other.
Competitive football?
Yes.
Village against the village?
Village against village. They had already started, although, we hadn't. So then I thought, why not we have a side? And we had very good athletes from my school. We always used to be the champion school side in athletics or whatever. So we had a lot of good players, athletes basically.
Which was the school, if I may ask?
That was Little Flower of Jesus High School, Kalangut.
Kalangut.
In those days it was a top school. Yes. Most of the athletes came from
Little Flower of Jesus.
Exactly. Yes. So I got them together, and since I knew the game, I knew how to shoot, I knew to stop, I knew all the tricks. I thought I'll take them to the beach side and teach them.
Okay.
But we were a little bit shy, so we went away. In those days, you didn't have too many people, only locals.
Right.
So I took them away from the main beach, and I used to practice with them and show them how they should go about the game. But then, the boys were passing one day.
Okay.
I remember one of them was Suresh, who used to work in Parra as a PE teacher, and the other was Philip Dias. So they saw us, so they came to me and said, why you all are playing here, come to the main ground, we are going to help you guys and whatever.
Philip Dias, if I may ask you,
Yeah.
who eventually went on to become a football referee?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen him as a young footballer and then a referee.
Exactly. And Suresh was a long distance runner,
Okay.
but he was also a teacher, PE teacher in Parra, in Secretariat. So they are the ones who brought us there, and when it is on the main
see.
ground, the other girls were watching, so they started coming.
Okay.
And then we decided that we would have a game against Kandoli, because they already had a side. And as you know, Kalangut and Kandoli, even today, we are not very good friends. As villagers, it still exists.
Village rivalry.
Absolutely. And in those days, it was like too much,
Yes, it was too much in the villages.
So anyways, we practiced and we didn't have exactly 11 players, so I had to ask my sister to play.
Okay.
She was an athlete.
Okay.
And then there was another girl, Rosalia, who was also an outstanding athlete. We roped in two of them, so we had 11 players, and we marked the day to play. And I remember I was sitting in the balcony, and this neighbor of mine, everyone followed football actually, and they took girls' football seriously. It was not like a joke. They took it seriously.
I see.
Yeah, and they had seen Kandoli play. So he came to me and he says, you want to play? Boring. So I said, oh my God, doesn't matter. I told the girls, I said, let's go out and give our best.
I know.
But we were very good, and we won 3-0, and I got the hat-trick. My first hat-trick in my first game.
Okay.
So that's how it started. And of course, afterwards, other teams followed. Vasco followed, Varka followed, many other teams.
Yeah,
Vasco Eves. I mean, so many other teams came. In the meantime, GFA got interested, So they had, in those days, I don't think we had too many village teams, 2 or 3, 4 maybe, But they made a north and south because they decided to send the girls for the nationals, association was formed and they decided to send. So it was north versus south. They just had a tournament and then they selected players for the first nationals. That's how basically I got into football, and probably most of the other girls, got into it the same way.
Good. That was a good beginning.
It was a very good beginning.
And the manner in which you went, you brought your friends together, took them to the beach side
Absolutely.
and practiced.
It was nice that the boys came up, so we had full backing.
It's like, even at that age, you had a certain goal in mind.
Absolutely.
But you have to do a small beginning somewhere, and that's where you did.
Absolutely.
And then where you landed.
Exactly.
That's how things, happen.
That's how things happen.
Then if I may ask you a specific question.
Yeah.
Who was the person who really motivated you in this game to give that further push? Because still that time, football was still men's domination. Am I right, if I may say it?
It was, but I am quite surprised that not only in Goa, I'm talking about other states, at least in Goa we are very forward. Of course at times I had a little bit of a problem to get the girls. But it was nothing to do that she's a girl and she should play football. It was more because of studies,
Right, yeah.
It was more. So we never had any problem regards, playing the game.
Okay.
We used to play every other game, and we used to be backed by, my parents would back every game I played. And this was just another game.
Right.
In fact, even national-wise, I was surprised because girls were coming from remote areas. And they never used to have a problem, somehow. That came to our vision, kind of, I don't think so.
You have just said that as far as your family, your parents were concerned, they encouraged you to play every game.
Right.
And my mind goes back to many years, where I remember having read that your father was your, great sportsman himself, and perhaps you have inherited his genes. Your late father, Joviniano de Souza. Can you tell us something about the way your father went about, motivating you?
No, actually,
what is his role?
His role, basically, he was a very jovial guy. He would say, you want to play, go ahead and play.
Okay.
There was no, basically, he was in Bombay and we were in Goa. Because I will tell you, this happened because of the liberation,
Okay.
He was working in Bombay, he was playing for Tatas, he was a very well-known player for Tatas. I mean, he has got his albums full of Joviniano everywhere. So basically, of course, I got it from him because he was not only a very good football player, he was a very good athlete also.
I see.
Yeah, because any game that he took up, he was good at it.
Okay.
Even later, he used to play billiards and has
Yes,
one
I
match.
know he
Yeah,
was a good
exactly,
billiards player. I met him at the Taj once.
Exactly.
And
So
yes.
he's, of course, it has definitely come absolutely from him, the fact that we all got into
The sports-
playing
sports
and the
side.
sports. Where soccer is concerned, I don't know what, it was not really, to be very honest, because I never saw him play.
Okay. Yeah.
I never saw him play. I just read about him.
Right,
Like people
I
would
see.
come and say, if
Okay.
your dad, score a goal, he would score right from the, center line,
Yeah.
and the net would break. That's a, that's a legend kind of a thing that goes on, because they would tell me, the net broke and the ball went
Out.
through. Yes. So that's how he was looked
A
upon.
great compliment for your dad in that.
Yes,
by sense,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
In that case, when did you first get the call to represent our state football team?
No, that's what it is, So we used to play, we were of course very good, and they knew that there were players that were very good and we could put a side together. So they made this north and south teams, and from that they selected the players for the first nationals. That was in 75, 76.
Okay, that's how it all began.
That is how it began. In
Okay.
fact, the association was formed with huge help from the men's association. If
I
not for
see,
them, we
I
would
see.
not be able to. We
Okay,
had
okay.
complete backing from
So
them.
perhaps they had seen the talent they have got
Yes,
and the
they-
potential
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
young women has got in
Yes,
the
yes.
game of
They
football.
knew it, and they knew that it had started already, whatever. And then Mr. Jean-Mel was our coach, Cesar
Yes.
coach. He was like, he trained us very, very well. We had a very, very good team, and we should actually have won the first nationals, hands down. Unfortunately, I guess it was that we were not so experienced to think, that
Lack of experience.
yeah, it probably was, because they had marked me. I know there were 3 girls in front of me, and I just couldn't move, I didn't even know, but a good coach would obviously tell me, you've got to just get out of that situation, whatever you get.
Find your way out.
We had somebody else who came with us. They were good, but your coach is your coach, and
Of course.
when he sees and he can make out, he probably gives you some tips from where you can, make
And you
your
follow it,
position.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that we were very unlucky. In fact, I think there was this gentleman who came and gave me a letter written, He said, this is the first time that I missed Dilip Kumar movie or something like that, and the bout of Cassius Clays and Joe Frazier,
Yeah, that time.
just to watch the Goa girls win.
I see.
And it was a shock to me that you all lost.
Okay.
So he wrote that, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still got it with me,
I
actually.
see.
So people really, even the Bengal girls, they never expected to win. In fact, after losing, we were kind of in tears, and they came to me, don't worry, and they were actually kind of,
Because they know who was the better side.
yes.
Yeah. But then, as you said,
that was how it
experience
was.
also counts
Experience
in such
counts,
situations. Yes,
absolutely
yeah.
does, absolutely. A little bit of, kind of would have probably made
Exactly,
a difference to us,
Twist to the strategy,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
defensive and all that
That's what I
stuff,
always
more
feel, that
attacking.
absolutely. Because we check every time we went, it has never been, and we have won in Goa, but we have lost every final
Okay.
outside. And our coach, the main coach, has always not been there, except for, I think, we had our coach in Kerala when we played. We had the coach, but okay, we had lost a lot of players at that time from the nationals.
I
Because
see.
Rekha wasn't there, Helen Fernandez wasn't there.
Okay.
So main players, 2, 3 very good
Made a
players,
big
it
difference.
makes a big
Big
difference. It
difference.
makes a difference.
Yolanda, I want to take you down memory lane. In that 1976 encounter, women's
Yeah.
national championship, at Sultanpur, you had scored a total of 15 goals plus 3 hat tricks. And then eventually you were declared player of the tournament. Were you actually on cloud 9 when all this thing happened to you? Top scorer with 15 goals, 3 hat tricks. What was the
Not
feeling?
really, not really.
Not really.
And it never did even after that. I got at least 3 times.
Yeah,
Of the 4
yeah.
times I played, thrice I was declared I was the top scorer. But for me, it was the team that came first. For me, the moment the game started, it was okay, the ball has to go into the net for us to win.
Right.
You know. So I mean, you feel happy that you have done something, but it was sad because we didn't win the tournament, you know.
Correct, yeah. You ended up being runners-up.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that
was
is the saddest part of it.
That was, yeah.
And then your individual performance takes a second place. You know?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because you play for the team. It's
exactly,
a team. You know,
exactly.
you have that aim in mind.
It's a
as
team.
A team we should
it
be
is as a team, because even if you score a hat trick, you can't do it on your own, you know.
Right.
You need support from your
backup
team, you know.
Yes, yes.
And of course, it depends on how you place yourself. So if you know how to, you know, position yourself,
Correct.
that is probably, you know, what makes a player special is if he knows where to be at the right time, and let a player see that you're free and pass the ball to you. So that's probably the only thing that I probably did, you know.
When Goa hosted the first National Women's Championship right here at Kampal grounds,
absolutely.
And can you share some memories of that championship? It was something special, not only for the women's team, but special for Goa in fact.
It was very special, because we
eventually became the winners.
We were the first team to win a trophy for Goa. I mean,
at national level.
Taking into account even the men.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
they won after us.
Later,
even reaching the finals, I think we were the first ones, if I'm not mistaken. And of course here, but like I said again, you know, it doesn't hit you. You know, it doesn't hit you what actually happens.
Okay.
You are on cloud 9. That was really being on cloud 9 when we won the championship. But I think we were very good at that time, you know. I mean, and we had the backing of the crowd. I remember my friends telling, you know, how we got in. I was basically pushed over the fence by somebody, because they had, you know, they had closed. There was no place, and then there were people sitting on the sidelines. It was like we had so much of backing, you know, that there was no way that we were not going to win. There was no way.
That women's team was something special for every football lover in Goa.
Yeah, and that team was really special.
You recall who was the manager, and the coach, of course, will be João Melo.
Yes.
But who was the manager?
Basically, honestly, I can't remember. But I don't know if there was a manager really, because all these people, like Jyoti was there, she was handling everything. She was the secretary. So you can call her the manager, because she was handling everything, you know. She was the secretary, Jyoti Botej.
Perhaps that administrative hierarchy was still to be
because the thing is that a manager probably they would think of sending when we went out. But outstation.
Okay.
But here we were, you know, we had senior girls also. I was one of the senior girls also. So we kind of took care. And Jyoti would be there all the time. So I don't think there was a manager. Otherwise, I would have called
Yolanda, while on this note, can you recall that beautiful goal you scored against Bengal in the finals? And if I can recall correctly, the cross came from Sukurina. Because this goal is still spoken in the, you know, football circles.
Yeah.
And I understand Bengal really never recovered from that shock treatment you gave them.
Okay, now I'm very happy that you asked me this question.
Because eventually Goa won by 3-0.
Yeah, this was the second goal though. This was the second goal. But I said I'm happy you asked me this question, because that goal was not scored by me.
Oh.
That goal was scored by Junior Perpet, who is from Kalangut also.
Okay.
So we were together, both of us. And that was an amazing goal. Yes, because I always like to correct when there's something not right. Because she came on the run, and it was a volley actually. It was a volley on the run in the air, which was very special. And I was just next to her. She was in front of me. We were both running together. But she took a first timer directly, because the ball was in the air, not a ground ball. So she actually jumped and
but it was actually not scored by you.
Absolutely not. It was by Perpet Junior, who is also from Kalangut.
I see.
Yeah. So it was a brilliant goal. I scored the third goal. It was a pass, and then I just dodged somebody and the goalkeeper and put it in. But this brilliant goal was scored by Perpet Junior.
And the entire stadium must have gone into a, you know.
Yeah. Everybody, because it was a beautiful goal. It was like a bullet that went in, because it was on the run, and she just, you know, volleyed it, and first timer. So it was a very hard ball which came actually. So with her impact, the shot was, you know, it was a bullet.
The resultant kick was even more powerful.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
What was the, you know, atmosphere like in the dressing room? Like not only at Kampal, at any venue, whenever, you know, before taking on the team Bengal.
Right.
Whenever Goa played out of station also, against Bengal, what was the atmosphere on the eve of the match? A few hours or a few minutes before the match in the dressing room.
It was, I mean, it's a long time for me to kind of try to recall, because you normally always recall the good side of things. But it was not bad. Of course, the coach would always give us, instructions of how we should face who and what we should do and all that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff we did that.
And we always prayed, let me tell you that.
I see.
Yeah, we always prayed. For every match, we would say the what you call it, you have a special name for that prayer, which I say even today. It's for Mary Help of Christians prayer. It's the memoir.
Okay, the memoir.
It's the memoir.
Okay.
We always said, because we used to do that when we played hockey. We used to always do that.
And
many of the girls, were playing football also, no? And so that continued. So that is one prayer which we said, for 9 consecutive hours before we went to play.
I see.
Yeah.
And it helped you
Absolutely.
spiritually to build up that spirit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How nice, Yolanda, that you spoke about the importance your team gave for prayers.
Absolutely did.
Right.
Absolutely did.
I wonder if it's happening in today's football.
I don't know, but I see many of the boys praying, before they are going in.
At least the sign of the cross.
Yeah. So I think they must be
What was
praying.
the unique characteristic or any special feature of this particular team, that won the first championship and that brought laurels to the state of Goa?
I think it was a complete side, we had no kind of, there was nothing we lacked in that team. Every player was special. Every player was the best that Goa could have. And we had many more on the sidelines, that if somebody got injured,
they could take the place.
Could take up and they would be as good. We had
perform equally.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Because there were about 22 girls which they had kept here.
I see.
Out of which, of course, 18 were kind of considered. But any of them could have walked in and they would have been as good.
So such was the team then.
Yes, such was. We had a very, very strong
Goa
team.
had great talent then in that case.
We did. We did.
Football.
We had
great potential, great talent.
Absolutely.
As you said, everybody was equally good in their respective department.
Absolutely. Because the other thing was that, in those days, villages used to take a lot of interest in the game. And every village had a coach. So they would be coaching them, So they were not just coming raw and then just getting a...
nice to hear, that even in that 70s, mid-70s, every village had a football team, ladies football team, and a coach who would guide them.
Yes, absolutely.
That made the difference,
it
perhaps.
It made a huge difference.
Playing the game tactically.
Absolutely. Because there are many girls who were new to the game.
Right.
So they were being taught from...
But then passion was there.
Yes. Passion was there, but they were being taught and they were picking it up very fast.
Correct. Yolanda, there was a time during your peak years, Sukurina Pereira and Yolanda were considered as the deadly duo, striking duo of a Goan team. Huh? What was the chemistry you both shared on the field and off the field also, if you recall and remember? What was the chemistry? Let us know.
No, as a team, we were all together, very together. And when we played of course, we knew each other's game, because we never used to just go with, say, 5 days of coaching, Coaching would always be for a month, So if we were playing for opponent sides, like if we played Varka, of course we were on the opposite sides.
Absolutely.
But when we played as a team, then we are one, I remember we used to... Sukurina has missed many tournaments, basically, and that's what happens, She was working and probably she could not... because otherwise she would have walked in any of the... Absolutely. She would have walked in any of the sides, no question about that. So we were a good team even in the Indian side, actually, because we knew each other more.
Correct.
So I remember we used to practice, and this girl used to always move forward, the goalkeeper, she was from Karnataka, a very good goalkeeper, Chitra. So whenever I went with the ball, she would come rushing out,
Okay.
So then I told Sukurina, what I said, you just follow me. So I'll pretend to shoot, but I will pass the ball behind. 3 out of 3 we were scoring every time. So that was the thing, if we spoke and we said,
team understanding, strategy you had. If such a situation arose.
Absolutely.
And knowing the goalkeeper's, style of coming in the front and coming out.
Absolutely. So every time it would be a goal. So that understanding was there more. obviously because we come from the same state. you know.
Right.
It's different.
So that is that chemistry you share.
Absolutely.
And perfect understanding,
Absolutely.
There
That
was no selfishness involved.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
But
not.
the focus on team victory was your goal. Am I right?
Absolutely. That was the thing, was to get the ball in.
Yeah, correct.
It doesn't matter who does it.
Yolanda, how was your progression on the with the national team, India
Right.
team, and then at the international level? Tell us something about that.
No, it's the same thing. We were selected, in fact, for the first nationals, we were 5 girls who were selected for the camp, and 4 of us were not only there, we were playing in the first 11. So, it was Sukurin, Rekha, Helen Fernandez.
From Goa.
Yeah,
who
and
represented.
the 4th one was who? Me, I think. I forgot to mention me. I forgot to mention me, exactly. Yeah, so, when you play good, obviously they select,
Yes.
So,
How many times have you represented the country at international tournaments?
see, at international tournaments, I've represented the country more than have represented the state, for the simple reason is that, of course, I missed a few internationals because I had an injury, a very bad injury. So, the first Asia Cup too, I did not miss. We were the runners-up. India has got that. We were the number 2 team in Asia.
In Asia.
Yeah, because we won the Asia Cup. We lost to Taiwan, who was very strong side, but we were number 2.
Yeah.
Before that, there was another nationals, I think, or after that, I can't remember. I think it was after that. Another one in Hong Kong, which I missed because I tore my ligament whilst practicing here.
I see.
But it was a very, very bad injury. It was a very bad injury, and I remember I went to this doctor who had come from London, and he says, okay, I'll get you ready within 8 days, you can join the camp. But no, it was not possible because he got the swelling out, but I just couldn't move.
The tissues, what happens? Generally, a ligament injury takes time.
Absolutely, it takes time.
It takes time.
So basically, I thought now this is the end. So I missed the Hong Kong trip, and then the World Cup for Taiwan came. I was injured, but then they said, no, you come, let's see what happens.
I see.
So when I went there, I had 2 months of physiotherapy. I have not practiced at all, only physiotherapy. And then I played when I went. But it completely healed. And those grounds are very good. So
the playing surface.
The surface was very good, so it was not a problem. I was as good as always, and no.
You didn't feel any difference as such?
Absolutely
that you have gone through a harrowing kind of,
No,
injury.
it was so perfect, and it was all because of the physiotherapy.
And the rest that you took for the 2 months' time?
Not the rest, it's more the physiotherapy actually, because they were giving me, I had to have stamina. Yeah, but not rigorous like the rest of the girls were having. It was like a little bit subdued. More working on my knee. I think I played only 1 game before going out for the tournament, but then I was playing all the games and it never recurred. But the day I came back, there was a match, because in Kalangut we used to always play with foreigners,
I see.
Boys and girls, Goa boys and girls, against foreigners. And the first second I got it again, because the ground was so bad that I just moved and my leg went again, and then I said, forget it.
Kalangut Association ground is all
horrible, in those days,
rocky kind of thing.
Now they have a
red
wonderful
soil,
ground.
Unless they have done a lawn and all.
No, now we have a very good ground, but it's done in a different place.
Okay.
This was by the roadside.
Yeah, on the way to the beach, on the right hand side.
Now that's become a parking place.
Opposite the greenhouse.
Exactly, opposst the greenhouse. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I got it the first minute, and then I said, okay, I'm done with football. And let me get on to my art. That's
Yolanda, तुम सदांच हॅट्रिक स्कोर करतली आणि हॅट्रिक स्कोर करपाची तुका एक पॅशन आसली हाचो गूट कितें what is the secret behind this passion of going for that hat-tricks?
No, I don't think so that you can go behind it. म्हणजे आता हांव हॅट्रिक करतलें अशें जायना तें. It's by accident that you
Is
do
it?
that. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
No, knowing at what level this was at that time.
No, for me it was like getting the ball in the goal, and I knew I was good enough to score.
Okay.
You know, so that's it. So if I found I was for example, in the finals of this
Women's
championship, we would have won 4-0, and I missed a sitter.
Okay.
You know, and probably everybody thought I should have passed the ball, but for me it was a blind goal. You know, it was completely blind. It was like I took the ball and all I had to do is shoot it to, you know, in the corner. But these things happen to the best and you never know why. So I went to shoot and I saw the ball go completely in a different direction, you know. So these things do happen. But basically, if I have confidence that I can score from a position, then I would go for it. For me, the main thing was for the ball to go in, for the team to win. So it was not going behind
hat trick or record like
no,
that.
they just
it just happens.
It just happens. It just happens.
Talking about missing the target and shooting off, like you just said, you missed a sitter.
Absolutely.
Anytime have you missed a spot kick?
Yes, I will tell you, I missed it.
And how do you felt about it?
My God, I will tell you, it was, I think it was either versus England or Sweden. I think it was Sweden.
In an international match?
Yes, and I told them, I'm going to take it.
Okay.
Okay, and this goalkeeper, she was not a goalkeeper, and she played a trick on me that was so bad that I got so nervous that I made a fool of myself and missed it. You know, she went and stood on one side of the goal.
I see.
Okay, like she's going to run now.
Right.
So I should have just taken it because the whole goal was open.
She didn't stay in the center of the line.
No, she stayed at one end. So basically I should have just kicked it there. She played on my mind. So I thought I'll be smart, you know. She's going to run and I will shoot there. You know, my trick I tried to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was in her hands, of course. My God, after that I was like, I must get a goal. And that's when I really went for a goal. I wanted to get a goal after I missed that, and I got it luckily. And then I said, okay, now I'm free of that.
No regrets.
No regrets. You know,
you made up for that little bit of,
if I hadn't to do that,
blunder.
I would, it was, of course, because I said, you know, I'm going to take it, like, you know. And then I missed it. It's horrible to do that.
Yolanda, during your peak footballing years, playing for the state, playing for the country, and continuously on the move for coaching camps and things like that, how did you manage your sports career as well as your college and your studies?
Absolutely. I'll tell you more than once I wanted to leave.
Leave what? Studies? College?
Yes, because I was in art college. You know? I went there because I wanted to do my art. But then the Xavier girls, where my sister was also there, and all of them were my friends because they used to play hockey with me. I was a hockey player, and basically all the hockey girls came from there. So they told me, what are you doing in art college, you know? They don't have sports, nothing. Just come here, stay here for, after 2 years you go. So I said, fine. I brought a form, I filled the form. I said bye-bye to my friends and I went to give it to the principal, you know. So he refused, he says, and in those days, you know, it was very difficult to get into art college. There were about 200 people, out of which they selected only 25. Okay. So now this guy said, what's wrong with you, you know? You please bring your parents here. I'm not going to let you go.
Just go like that.
Yeah, and then the principal, Father Nicolau in Xavier's, he told my sister in no small terms, he says, listen, you're going to spoil her career, don't do it. Because I told my principal, I said, listen, you know, football is for a short time, and you know, my painting goes forever.
For life,
You know, so 2 years is not going to make a difference. So then he told me, you know what, you don't worry. As and when you want to go, because luckily, at that time the principal was a gentleman called Patil. He was from JJ School of Art, but he used to be a wrestler. So he understood, you know, and he said, you don't worry, whenever you have to go, I'm going to let you go.
We will let you
go.
Yeah.
So there's no problem. So the same thing happened when I joined my work, you know, as a designer. I was not, because that's even worse. Even art college was up to 4 o'clock, you know, so where you find the time. And then here it was 5:30. But then again, he allowed me. So I was very lucky to have people who understood.
Yeah,
And you know,
gave you some relaxation.
Absolutely.
Time
I
relaxation.
could go as and when I wanted. There was never a time when they said, no, you can't go. I mean, from that point of view, I've been very, very lucky.
In that sense, Yolanda, you were also a state hockey player.
That's right.
And it's quite a unique kind of a combination, you know, for a person to excel in two sports discipline, and that too at the state level. How did this thing happen? It was a simultaneous thing, football as well as hockey?
No, I will tell you, I also played.
And how did you maintain that balance, you know, between these two sports?
No,
disciplines?
I left because I will tell you what, I started as in playing badminton,
Yeah.
okay? I represented the state in badminton. Yeah, more than once. I was even in a coaching camp with Prakash Padukone.
Okay.
Yeah. But then hockey came, you know. In those days, it was very difficult to make badminton happen. There was only one court, and I remember I would go there and wait for hours together and have just one single game.
One game.
Yeah. And then, of course, coaches came and it became a little bit better. Then hockey was the same. We used to practice and we were very good. In fact, we had a nationals here. We were in the quarterfinals. We defeated some of the best teams in India. Although we didn't have, you know, much of coaching being done before we left. It was always 8 days or something and then we went. But we used to be very good and we had these girls from Africa who also knew the game.
Yes, yes.
So I was in fact selected for a camp to go to Russia.
Okay.
National camp, but unfortunately at that time they had a problem with Russia, the Indian government, so they cancelled. But in the meantime, because the nationals in Goa was in 74, I think, hockey nationals, and then in 75 football started. So of course I will go to where I get more support. You know?
Right.
Hockey, we didn't have much of support.
There was not much following also for hockey maybe that time.
In those
as much
days,
as football.
At that time, football didn't exist, so there was a lot of following. But once football started, all the girls decided to go. All the hockey girls turned to football.
Okay.
Because of the support we were getting. We were getting support from the village. Our villagers, you know, most of them would be in the Gulf, and they would be the ones who gave us our kits and everything.
Support system. Like,
absolutely,
you know,
complete support system was there. So of course we are going to go, and then of course you can't serve two masters. So I never went to any other game. I just concentrated.
You have to take a tough decision.
Yeah. It was not tough because it was I think it was a very easy decision to make.
For you.
Yeah. There's no question about that.
Yolanda, now coming to your awards, you know, what was the feeling like to receive the Goa State's prestigious football award? That's Bakshi Bahadur Kirkar award, you know.
It always feels good to be recognized, you know, for whatever you've done.
And for a youngster of your age to be you know, getting that recognition, must have been something great feeling.
It was a very good feeling. You feel good. You feel once you're recognized.
What was the reaction from your family or maybe your
No, my sister had also received it before for athletics.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
She was a very good athlete.
So two
so she
awards in the family.
Much before me.
Okay.
Yeah, so you feel good, you know, that you're recognized, and of course it holds a place of importance back home because most of my trophies I've left at my mother's house. But this one I have, you know, and a few achievement awards which have come.
Which are the other awards that you picked up during the course of your career, sports career?
Yeah, they nominated me in the, player of the decade. Yeah, exactly. Then here in Goa also the GFTC awarded me with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And the other ones have been because I've been scoring in the sense, thrice I got the best player and top scorer award. Apart from that, people were giving me awards, I remember the first time also in Kerala, I think 5-6 awards I got from the people, who were watching,
Your fans.
So that makes it better than getting any other award because it comes from the fans.
Correct.
You feel very good when fans
it's a different kind of experience and a feeling.
Because I remember
people whom you don't know.
I don't know.
Are appreciating your talent and recognizing it.
Yeah, that makes it very nice. Kerala,
difference.
we had, it's funny when we used to play football in any place. the crowd would be at least 40,000. The nationals where we played, the stadium was
So they
full.
had a big stadium and all.
Oh, it's a big, it's the same stadium where all the other matches used to be held at, Kozhikode?
Kozhikode.
Yeah,
Kozhikode,
yeah. That was the stadium. That one. And we used to have evening matches, you know.
Yolanda, as an international footballer, do you have any regrets or any unfulfilled dreams that, that actually remained unfulfilled for you?
No, nothing. And that's the reason why when I left football, for me, I have achieved everything. I've enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
I've given my best, and I didn't want to carry on with a broken leg or,
Correct.
I mean, just playing for the heck of it was not my thing. If I played, it has to be at the best level,
Yeah.
So, no regrets, because I think I won the second position in the Asia Cup. We won the nationals. I've represented the country in at the Taiwan World Cup.
World Cup, Women's
and that's
World Cup.
it was very fulfilling this year when suddenly the German team won the World Cup, and we drew with them. The first match was with them, and that's why I say one has to have a good coach with you, because the coach which came with us, I don't think he ever won anything. He never believed that we could do anything in the World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was from Lucknow. He was just was not a very good coach actually.
Okay.
So the first match we drew with Germany, and they went on to win the nationals, the World Cup. So what happened is that they made now national. Actually, it's not a serial. It's what you call it. A kind of a movie on their way towards getting football to mainstream.
Okay.
And it all started with their win in the World Cup. So they have made a movie and they had put it online.
I see.
And then the first match, they said when we played India, we thought, oh, okay, they are going to be just no problem and get through. But then they could really play,
Okay.
And so they showed clips of that, and it was very nice for me to see that I was running around in there. So it's a big kind of a thing which they've done, because they kind of, the transition for them from those days to the now football was very smooth. In India it was not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think if it were to be that way, India would have been in a better position.
Today,
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
it wasn't.
Yolanda, can you share with us a special, a very special moment during your career as a footballer? Something that you will always cherish lifelong.
Absolutely.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Because we are also running out of time now.
I know. I will tell you only one. One was, everyone asked, probably it's the hat trick that you scored, but no, it wasn't for some reason. For me, what was a special moment was the goal I scored in Malaysia against Penang.
Okay.
It was the first match. We had gone on a tour. And then, I always wanted to score like Pele, the bicycle
kick.
And I used to always practice.
I see.
I used to practice. And I got a chance to score there.
Okay.
And that remains for me the kind of crown or a gem in the crown, or whatever you call it, the jewel in the crown of my footballing career. Because I always wanted to have that,
Obviously, and you achieved
bicycle
it.
kick. Yeah, and I used to have Pele's books, and I used to see how he would do it. In those days, you didn't have anything.
There were no maybe videos.
No, there were no
sharing the
videos.
clips and
So I
all.
had this book of his,
Which would show you step by step.
Step by step.
step.
So I used to practice on the grounds, and I was so happy that I got a chance and I scored from it.
Okay.
So that is for me the most special moment in my career, I would think.
Someday, maybe when you write your autobiography,
I
this
know.
will, have a prominent,
Absolutely will.
laid out
Absolutely
place.
will. Because it was a dream for me, and it came true. So that's why I say, there's nothing at all that I feel I should have done or I could have done,
Yolanda, what would be your advice for our budding footballers now? Both men and women, football has gone to a different level altogether.
Exactly.
Whether it is financial returns, whether it is crowd support, whether it is corporates coming in, the entire
Absolutely.
football thing only has changed for our country. Tell us a brief advice.
Yeah, now I think it's become even more, you know, the boys and the girls have to take it more seriously now than we did in those days, because we played for the passion.
Yes.
And the corporates are not going to pick you unless you're going to be true to your game. And however good you are, if you're going to take it easy, in football you have to be absolutely fit, you know. You can have juggle the ball, can do whatever, but if you are not fit enough to run 45, 90 minutes without getting exhausted,
Yes.
then you're there. But if you can't, then all your tricks and all you know is useless. So
Makes no
number
sense.
one, you have to be very fit. You have to be true to yourself, you know, follow the rules in the sense, you know, there should not be late nights and things like that, because, you know, that's going to hamper your progress.
It's a discipline.
Discipline
Maintain
is
discipline.
very important, to have discipline and be true to yourself, you know. The game doesn't end by the coach telling you what to do. You've got to, you know, motivate yourself. You've got to, nowadays, you know, they have got all the football, the best football, from where to pick up, from where to learn, you know, you see the best players. So you have to check these things and then try it yourself. You have to do it. And you have to practice on your own, whether, you know, the coach calls you at this time. We were doing it all the time. I was going to the ground on my own.
On your own,
and
at
just,
individual
you know,
level.
Absolutely, one has to do it.
Thank you so much, Yolanda, for having come to our studios, given us this time, shared your glorious moments of your footballing years, your career. It's such a pleasure to have you and host you today at the studios. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
My absolute pleasure, and thanks for giving me this chance to clear a lot of things that, you know, one likes to, but
Yeah.
doesn't get a chance at times,
know,
like the
yes.
goal that my Kalangut maid scored.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Thank you so much. Has been a pleasure.
Same here, Yolanda. Friends, so this was Yolanda sharing with us moments of glory. She has also given a very good advice to the young footballers, where she says, talks about the fitness. And today, fitness, stamina is the stepping stone for success on a football field, you know. And with that goes the sports discipline also. Keep watching your channel CCR TV. We shall be bringing you more football stars of yesteryears in our program Goychea, Futballache, Vostad.